The following is a live presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and or future. Hey, I remembered to wake up to get ready for my stream today. How about that? My name is Ron Juckett. Welcome to the program for the first of two today, for this 5th day of September 2023. This is Game 4 between the Chicago White Sox and Oakland Athletics in their American League Divisional Series. Oakland, the wild card, needs just one more win, and voila, they are home here for this one against the White Sox. The White Sox are going to go with Sean Lowe. And if they win, they get to take the series back to Comiskey Park for a decisive Game 5. Oakland, if they win, await the winner of tomorrow's Game 5 between the New York Yankees and Seattle Mariners. National League resumes tonight, 8:30 Eastern. Oakland. It'll be the Florida Marlins hosting the Houston Astros. If Houston wins, they will beat the the Cubs, in the National League Championship Series. So that's what's on the line today. If the A's win, they move on. And if the White Sox win, well, we get one more. So let's get to it, shall we? As Retro Sports Network presents the 2001 American League Divisional Series, Game 4, tonight. From the Oakland Alameda, the Network Associates Coliseum. It is Game 4 between the Oakland Athletics and the Chicago White Sox. And today's game is brought to you by DigitalDice.com, the best darn podcast on the web for your sports simulation and replay needs. Find us today on Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes, or wherever else fine podcasts are listed. Good morning, Bernie. How are you? So it'll be Corey Lydell on the hill for Oakland, and this will be the lineup that he will face. The White Sox trying to force this back to Chicago. Ray Durham leads off at second base. Carlos Lee in left will bat second. Paul Konerko at first will bat third. Maggie Ordonez in right will clean up. That's not been a very effective lineup the first 3 games of the series. Jose Canseco gets to be a DH in his old ball yard. He will bat 5th. Jose Valentin batting 6th will play 3rd. Chris Singleton in center in 7th. Josh Paul behind the plate goes 8th. And Royce Clayton pretty much acting as a second leadoff hitter at short, batting 9th. Terrence Long is a 3 and a 3 in left. Johnny Damon a 5 and a 3 in center. Jermaine Dine 8 and a 9 in right. Eric Chavez a 10 at third. Miguel Tejada a 6 at short. Frank Menachino a 7 at second. Jason Giambi a 5 at first. Ramon Hernandez a 6 and a 3 behind the plate. Yes? No, what is it? What? Yes, you did. It would be helpful if the streaming software was actually showing you the field. That's better. I had a video the other day, Bernie. I couldn't. What?
Do you need anything?
I'm streaming.
Alright,
I love you too. I had a video the other day, Bernie, where I was showing off something and realized about a half hour into it that I hadn't taken it off my own mug. That wasn't very nice. They gave you the lineups, right? Anyway, it's 64 degrees, winds blowing in from the center. Ray Durham is 4 for 11 on the series. He has 2 doubles, 3 runs scored, and 2 walks. John, how you doing? You in the middle of watching the New York Seattle? Yeah, that. I tell you what. That has been the weirdest series. We'll talk more about it tomorrow at noon when we play Game 5. But there has been no pitching in that series whatsoever. In the last 3 games of that Yankee-Seattle series, there have been 19 runs, and 23 runs. The Pitfalls is streaming live, and Sarah, my wife, heard me and thought I was calling for her. No, I was trying to work. We gave you Durham's numbers. Corey Lytle on the hill, 13-6 on the real year, a 3.59 ERA, 188 innings, 170 hits, 23 homers, 47 walks, and 118 strikeouts. And with all that, if Lytle can pitch into the 7th or 8th with a lead, the A's are going to await the winner of Game 5 of the Yankees in Seattle. Pitch to Durham. Ground ball to Tejada. Great play by Miguel over to Giambi for the out. Yesterday, in great moments in streaming history, here's Carlos Lee, 1 for 12 on the series, but that one hit was a homer. He has 2 RBI and struck out 3. About 11:35, I said I'll just close my eyes for about 10 minutes. 5 after 12 rolls around. The greatest oh gosh darn ever to come out of my mouth, and I was on the air in 2 minutes. I can't believe I got it done that fast, but I did. Pitch to Lee. There's a fly ball, right center field. Back goes Damon. Johnny makes the catch, 2 out. How far did you get in that New York-Seattle game, John? Here's Konerko. Paul, 2 for 12. Hitting 167, 2 RBI, a walk, and a strikeout. And Konerko draws the 2-out walk. So here's Ordonez, 2 for 12 on the series with a double, a single, an RBI, 2 runs scored, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. 2 out here in the top of the first. Corey delivers. Chopper down to Tejada. He's going to go to first for maybe an easy out. Ordonez is chugging, and Giambi kept his foot on the bag, and that'll do it. So no runs, no hits, and they leave on 1. After half an inning, Chicago nothing. Here comes Oakland. So Sean Lowe has an ERA in this series of 1.62. What did he pitch? He would have pitched in Game 2 in Chicago, that 18-7 blowout over that Oakland put on him. He retired 1 batter through 35 pitches, 3 hits, 6 runs, all earned, and 4 walks for an ERA is what we said, 1.62. He's 30, curveball pitcher, fastball at 84, and a ground ball pitcher, and that was all out of the pen. Here's a lineup he'll face. Johnny Damon leads off in center field. Yeah, Jamie, a 1.62 ERA isn't particularly good. Jermaine Dye in right will bat second. Jason Giambi at first will hit third. Eric Chavez cleans up at third. Miguel Tejada hitting .545 on the series will bat fifth and play short. Terrence Long in left batting sixth. Jeremy Giambi, the DH, bats seventh. Frank Menachino in his Cherry Farm at second, batting eighth, and Ramon Hernandez behind the plate, batting ninth. Carlos Lee, as we set the White Sox defense for you, a 6 and a 6 in left. Chris Singleton, a 7 and a 6 in center. Maggie Ordonez, a 4 and a 9 in right. Jose Valentin is a 7 at third. Royce Clayton, an 8 at short. Ray Durham, a 7 at second. Paul Konerko, not a bad first baseman, an 8 at first. Paul, a 2 and a 1 behind the plate, and Lowe, who can go about 90 pitches, is an 8 on the mound with a 1,000 fielding percentage. Lydell threw 18 pitches in his half of the first for Oakland. He should go about 95. Damon on the series, 3 for 14, a double and a solo homer. He has scored 3 times. And Lowe starts his effort with a base hit into right center field. So Singleton throws it back in, and that's how this starts. Here's Jermaine Dye, is 3 for 13, 2 doubles, a homer, and 2 RBI. He has scored 4 times. Just got the AV back. Okay. So how far did you get in yesterday's Google cluster, John? Pitched to throw to first, rather. Damon is back. Will swing away. Dye. Ground ball. Clayton has it. Durham for 1. and Konerko for 2. So Clayton turns the double play, 2 out. So, yes, at one point in that game yesterday, the Yankees led 10-0. And nearly blew it. Jason Giambi at 462, 6 for 13, a double, a homer, and 2 RBI. 2 out here in the first, nobody on, following the double play. Ground ball to Clayton. Royce with a great stop over to Konerko. And that will retire the side. Oakland gets a hit, and that's it. They don't even leave a runner on after 1, no score. So Canseco 1 for 4. That came in Chicago and hit a home run. And I'm sure for the 30-some-odd thousand here in Oakland, to see Canseco in a playoff game and anything else besides the green and yellow of Oakland is kind of a shock. Pitch to Jose. Ground ball to third. Chavez with a web jam over to first. 1 out. I'm sure that purists, John, will give me a bit of grief for putting in Mo Rivera in a blowout, but let's just say that Seattle and New York have scored some runs in that series. Jose Valentin is at 167, 2 for 12 with an RBI. Fly ball, right field, an absolute metric ton of foul territory here. And he found it. Couldn't make the catch. So the count is 0-2 with 1 out. Struck him out. So Lydell has his first K. 2 out for Chris Singleton. 3 for 9 on the series with an RBI. Struck him out. So Corey's through 2. No runs, no hits, and no errors. Go to the bottom of the second here in Oakland. No score. Eric Chavez 5 for 13. That's 385. 2 homers and 6 RBI. The A's lead the series 2-1. Do not want to get back into a plane to play a decisive Game 5 at Comiskey. Pitch to Chavez. Struck him out. That's the first for low. 2-2 curve out of the zone. 1 out. For Miguel Tejada, who has had himself a series. He is 6 for 11. 3 singles, 3 doubles, and 5 RBI. Tejada hits a hot ground ball to Clayton, who throws over to first for the out. That's pretty much, John, why I did it. It was 16-7 at that point, and with the off day to fly back across the country, I just did not want Seattle to come back. So Yankee fans, you're welcome. There's Terrence Long. Terrence has struggled a bit. 1 for 14 with 2 strikeouts. In the left center, Singleton moving over, and Chris will make the catch. After 2, no runs, no hits, no errors for Oakland. It's the A's nothing, Chicago nothing. How you doing, Big Dave? So here's Josh Paul, and if it's his wife, don't throw it back, because that would be Mrs. Paul, and she makes a mean fish. Josh is 4 for 11 on the series, a 3.64 ERA, and a solo homer. Ground ball left side, base hit. So the League Championship Series will begin on Tuesday. Not sure what series we're going to start with. And all we know so far is the middle 3, possibly, of the National League Championship Series will be at Wrigley. Here's Royce Clayton. Royce is 1 for 9 with 2 RBI. Paul with good speed on first. Lydell throws to first. Back safely. Yeah, it is late. Hey, it took me till about 5 after 12 yesterday to remember to wake up to do the stream. Pitch to Clayton. There's a liner in the center field, and Damon will pick it up. So first and second for the White Sox. Nobody out here in the third. Opening 9 for Lydell. 42 pitches, 2 innings, 2 hits, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. Ray Durham is 0 for 1. Corey kicks and fires. Base hit right field. Dye will pick it up. Ray's going to have a double. Paul is going to score, and the White Sox lead Game 4 1-0. And that'll bring up Carlos Lee. Carlos is 0 for 1. Corey pitched well in the first 2 innings, and there's no one out here in the third, and the White Sox have 1 in and are threatening. Pitch to Carlos. Long gone in the right field, and that's above the scoreboard into the seats, and it's 4-0 White Sox here in Game 4. So Chicago does not want to go quietly into that good night. Lee just hammered that one in the right field. And Damon and Dye just kind of took an Adirondack chair and watched it go. So we have the possibility of 2 Game 5s tomorrow. Konerko walked his first time up. Fly ball, left field, long. We'll watch that sail into the seats for a foul ball. And someone from Berkeley made the play. Actually, I take that back. Long caught it. So no one from Berkeley made the catch. Unless that's where Terrence Long lives. 1 out for Ordonez, who's 0 for 1. Popped up right side. Menachino will make the catch. 2 out. So here's Canseco. Jose is 0 for 1. It would be Burley tomorrow if the White Sox win this game. Canseco hits a ground ball to third. Chavez, long throw over to first. And that will retire the side. The White Sox get the 3-run shot from Carlos Lee, and they lead Game 4 by the score of 4-0 in the bottom of the third. So Jeremy Giambi is 3 for 6. Has a double and a homer in the series. Driven in 3. Fly ball, right field. Ordonez. And he bobbles it. Giambi going for 2. The throw to Clayton is going to be close. And Jeremy's in there. Maggie Ordonez just straight out dropped it. And thankfully for Oakland, Jeremy Giambi was watching all the way and kicked it into another gear a little bit past first. So here's Menachino. Frank 4 for 10 with a double on the series. The A's catch a huge break. Can they cash in? Ground ball, first base side, foul. And the count is 2-2 to Frank. White Sox put 4 on the board in the third. And Menachino strikes out a 2-2 curveball. Got him looking. And 1 out for Ramon Hernandez, who's having a good series. 4 for 12. That's 333 with 2 RBI. So Giambi, the recipient of a 2-base error, on second. Chopper to short. Clayton. Long throw to Konerko. 2 out. Giambi stays at second. Sean Lowe's opening 9, 38 pitches, 2 2/3, a hit and 2 strikeouts. Johnny Damon single to start the ball game for Oakland. The Athletics only hit. Low pitches. Right back to Sean, first base side. Throws to Konerko, and that will retire the side. The error for Knott No runs, no hits, and that error. We go to the fourth in game 4. It's the White Sox 4, the Athletics nothing. So Lydell will face Jose Valentin, Chris Singleton, and Josh Paul here in the fourth. Valentin struck out his first time up, 1-2 that Lydell has. Got him. A full count cutter in there at the knees, strike 3. So that brings up Chris Singleton, who struck out his first time up. How was your guys all Labor Day weekend? There's a ground ball to first. Giambi to the bag himself. 2 out. For Josh Paul, who singled and scored in the third. He scored on that 3-run blast by Carlos Lee. This time around, chopper to third. Chavez has it. Play him. And that's an error. So it goes under Chavez's glove, and Paul is on first with 2 out for Royce Clayton. 18 batters deep for Lydell. 74 pitches, 3 2/3, 4 hits. The home run to Lee, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. There goes Paul. The throw down to second. Menachino puts the tag on him, and that's the inning. No runs, no hits, and 1 error. We go to the bottom of the fourth. 4-0 White Sox. So, if you missed it yesterday, New York 16, Seattle 7. Jorge Posada and Bernie Williams both broke out of their slumps. The Yankees at one point led 10-0, and by the 7th inning it was 10-7. So noontime Eastern tomorrow, the decisive game of that series. Houston, which won Game 3 in Miami by the score of 8-1, will have the chance tonight to wrap up that series and get the NLCS set. And of course, if it is Houston or Florida for that matter, that will begin in one of those cities, as the Cubs are the wild card and cannot host. Jermaine Dye, Jason Giambi, and Eric Chavez here to face Sean Lowe. Dye 0 for 1. He is grounded into a double play. Lowe starts the fourth with a fly ball to right field. Singleton moving over, 1 out. Here's Jason Giambi, who's 0 for 1. Ground ball to first. Canerco underhands it to Lowe for the out. So here's Eric Chavez with a strikeout. Up the middle, Durham with 2 out by the bag at second, over to first, and that will retire the side. So Sean Lowe, who came into this game with an earned run average of 162, he's thrown 4 shutout innings. We go to the 5th in Game 4. It's 4-0 White Sox. So it'll be Clayton, Durham, and Lee to face Lydell. Royce singled and scored in the third. Corey starts the 5th with a chopper up the middle. Tejada with highway robbery, running towards the bag at second. Picked it up off a hop and threw it for the out. 1 away for Ray Durham. Ray has a double. He is 1 for 2. Drove home Paul in the third. Still 4-0 Chicago here in Game 4. Popped up. Hernandez. Foul territory. An ocean of room. And Hernandez makes the catch. 2 out. So here's Carlos Lee. It was Lee's 3-run bomb into the football seats. Pretty much into Mount Davis, for goodness sakes. That made it a 4-0 game in the third. Lydell takes a deep breath. 60 degrees. Winds blowing in from right center at 12. And there's a base hit into right center. Damon will pick it up off a hop, and that's only the 5th hit for Chicago. Canerco is 0 for 1 with a walk. Got him. So Lydell got him to chase, and that'll do it. Halfway home on a hot, sticky day in Burlington. I'm sure Dave in Rochester's feeling it too. It's the White Sox 4, the Athletics nothing. Well, if you joined us late, here's how we got here. It was a busy third inning for the White Sox. Their backs are up against the wall. Ray Durham an RBI double to score Josh Paul to make it 1-0. Then Carlos Lee a 3-run homer well into the seats in right center to make it 4-0. In a rare playoff game that we've done that the starting pitchers are still in it at the halfway mark. Corey Lydell, a 5-hitter through 5. All 4 runs are his. A homer, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. Lowe has just thrown a 1-hitter through 4, and he's lowered his ERA from 1.62. That's not a misprint. 1.62 even to 12.46. Tejada, Long, and Giambi here in the 5th. Miguel is 0 for 1. Lowe starts the frame with a slow ground ball to third. Valentin across the way to Canerco for the out. So 1 out for Long. Terrence is 0 for 1. Base hit right field past Durham. And Ordonez will get it on a hop or 5. And so that's only the 2nd hit for Oakland. Here's Jeremy Giambi. He's 0 for 1. Sean Lowe trying to get Chicago on his back and fly back across 2/3 of the country for a decisive Game 5. Pitch to Giambi. There's a ground ball to Durham. Ray goes to Clayton for 1. Royce throws to first, and then that will be a 4-6-3 double play. How about that? We're through 5 here in Oakland. It's 4-0 Chicago. So Lydell will start the 6th. Ordonez is 0 for 2. Corey winds and fires. That's into right field. Jermaine Dye, 1 out. Caught that in the alley. Now here's Jose Canseco. Jose is 0 for 2. Slow number down to first. Jason Giambi underhands it to Lydell, and that will be 2 out. So by the way, just in case you guys forgot, these are the Moneyball A's. And just like in the real 2001, they are a game away from advancing out of the LDS. Here's Jose Valentin, who struck out twice. Lydell's final batter either way. Corey deals, and there's a pop-up fly ball right field. Back goes Dye, way back there and gone! That didn't look like that was going to get out of the infield. It didn't sound like it was going to get out of the infield. But that's a home run and a 5-0 lead for the White Sox. That just was an Energizer Bunny type swing. It just kept going and going and going. So the White Sox have a 5-run lead here in Game 4. And that'll do it for Lydell. Mike Magnanti coming in to pitch to face a lefty Singleton. Magnanti has pitched in 2 games in this series, has an earned run average of .540. 36 years old. Fastball is a Bugs Bunny one at 81, and a ground ball pitcher. So he pitched in Chicago's Game 1 win, and then pitched 2 and a third innings in the Game 2 win by Oakland. 30 pitches, 2 solo home runs, and 2 hits. So overall in this ALDS, 3 and a third innings, 3 hits, 2 runs both earned, and 2 home runs allowed. So here's Singleton. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. 5-0 Chicago here in the top of the 6th. Fly ball, right field. Dye doesn't even have to move. And that will retire the side. But a big run for the White Sox on the solo homer by Jose Valentin. 5.5 in the books. It's 5-0 White Sox. So Menachino, Hernandez, and Johnny Damon to face Sean Lowe. Menachino has struck out. He's 0 for 1. Struck out again. A full count curveball, swung on and missed. Strike 3. So here's Ramon Hernandez, who's 0 for 1. Up the middle, Durham with a nice stop over to first. 2 out. For Johnny Damon, Johnny 1 for 2 with a single. Lowe has pitched to Jim, 18 batters, 68 pitches, 5 2/3, 2 hits and 3 strikeouts. Damon into right. Ordonez, the crowd likes it. So does Maggie, and that will retire the side. So Magnanti will start the 7th. This one has been everything Chicago wanted and more. We go to the 7th, 5-0 White Sox. You guys are awful quiet today. Josh Paul 1 for 2. He is singled and scored. Paul right back up the box. Magnanti over to first for the out, 1 away. Mark Boulder would get the start in Game 5 for Oakland. He was the Game 1 starter. Bullpen is pretty fresh. And obviously, Gil Heredia would be there. How you doing, Mike, from the truck? But any decisive game that we get is pretty much a Johnny Holstaff game anyway. Royce Clayton, 1 for 2. He is singled and scored. And this time around to short. Tejada over to Giambi for the out. 2 away for Ray Durham. Ray 1 for 3, a double, an RBI, and a run scored. So the White Sox 9 outs away from sending this back to Chicago for a winner-take-all Game 5. Durham, there's a ground ball to first. Giambi is there. He'll take it to the bag himself, and that'll do it. Stretch time, 5-0 White Sox. Curtis, how are you? So we will not be doubling up any Game 5s, since that would be a clincher. I know the Yankees and Mariners will do their Game 5 tomorrow. Oh, thank you, Amish Elvis. Nice to have you along. Jermaine Dye is 0 for 2. Is grounded into a double play. That's into left field. Carlos Lee has not been busy. Makes the catch, 1 out. So if I was pondering how that Mets or Mariners team could not make it to the World Series, now that you've seen 4 games, or you were pondering, yes, what say you? I think the pitching in that series has been atrocious. I will take my chances with Seattle in a winner-take-all Game 5, considering that Freddie Garcia pitched an absolute gem in Game 1. The interesting thing is that they took a game in New York. They won Game 3. Jason Giambi's 0 for 2. I don't know what to think. They haven't no one has pitched well in that series, except for Freddie Garcia. Giambi sends this one into left field. Singleton moving over, and that will be the second out. So here's Chavez. Eric is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. They haven't played poorly. I mean, their offense is firing on all cylinders. And John says, yep, that team was built for a marathon in a short series. Look at anything can happen. 73 Mets, of course. Even the 2022 Phils. And we're so far in the 21st century, you got to clarify which 22 Phils you're going about. Because the 1922 Phils played at the Baker Bowl. They all used Lifebuoy, and they still stunk. Pitch to Chavez is a liner in the right field. Ordonez isn't going to get that one. Eric is going to have extra bases. The throw into Clayton is late. It's cut off by Durham, as a matter of fact. That's only the third A's hit of the ball game. Here's Tejada, who was 0 for 2. So if Seattle's run ends in Game 5, you got to say it's the pitching. You can't win a playoff series with an ERA over 7. Pitch to Tejada. Fly ball right field. Ordonez makes the catch, and that will retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. We go to the 8th. Magnanti's still going to pitch, at least to start the inning. 5-0 Chicago. Think of it this way. The Mariners have scored 6, 9, 10, and 7 in those 4 games. That's 32 runs they have scored in 4 games. And they very may well go lights out in Game 5 tomorrow. But if you were to tell me that any team would score 32 runs in 4 games and be 1 game away from being eliminated, I would check to see what was in your coffee cup. Carlos Lee is 2 for 3. He has a 3-run homer, and that came in the 3rd. Struck him out. Got him on a slow called fastball. And now they'll go to the pen. The Rangers haven't used Jeff Tam in the series. Well, we'll take care of that now. Tam 2 and 4 on the real year. 3 saves, a 3.01 ERA. 74 2/3, 68 hits, 3 homers. He's walked 29 and struck out 44. If they were to lose tomorrow, the Mariners, and let's say they score 5 or 6 runs, you have to go back to the 1960 Yankees, who outscored Pittsburgh 54-26 in that World Series and lost. You can't blame the bats for what's going on with Seattle. Konerko is 0 for 2, a walk and a strikeout. Tam starts his LDS with a ground ball left side, base hit. So Konerko takes a long turn around first and goes back. Ordonez is 0 for 3. So, John, what are your thoughts on, or your guys' thoughts on that Mariner team? Tam deals. Struck him out. So here's Canseco in the 8th inning. It's a moderate hand. He is 0 for 3 in this one. And they're going to pinch hit Herbert Perry. Perry 2 for 7. Remember, DH doesn't get pinch hit for. Single, double, RBI. Konerko on first, 2 out, 5-0 White Sox. Ground ball to Menachino. He'll go to second. Tejada's there, and that will retire the side. We're flying through. It's only 12:39 Eastern. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. No runs, a hit, no errors. It's the White Sox 5, Oakland nothing. And Sean Lowe, if you weren't with us at the start, pitched some bad relief in this series. Kind of like getting the bad combo platter at a Chinese place. His ERA coming in was 162. No decimals, just 162. He has lowered it with 7 shutout innings to 7.36. Long as a single, 1 for 2. That's up the middle for a base hit. So the A's still have 6 outs to get 5 runs. But and that's going to do it for Lowe. So Lowe gets a decent hand from his bench. Alan Embry will come in. They have a pitching change from Networks Associates Coliseum in Oakland, California. Embry over from San Francisco, 31, fly ball pitcher. Fastball tops out at 90. Has pitched twice in this series. He pitched game 1, 2/3 of an inning. Got a double play is what he did on 3 pitches. In game 2, 1 inning, 17 pitches, 2 hits, 2 runs, both earned in a homer. So overall, an inning and 2/3, 2 hits, 2 runs. Well, it's an ERA of 10.80. Oakland will pinch hit. Almedo Signs will do it to get the righty-lefty matchup. Signs 0 for 2. He played in game 1 with a walk. Long on first. Nobody out. 5-0 White Sox here in the 8th. Signs into center field. Singleton retreating makes the catch, and Long will go back to first. Wind blowing in directly from right. That would be from the interstate, 880. Menachino is 0 for 2. He has struck out twice. And Embry just trying to set this up. Yeah, I just don't understand it. And who knows? Tomorrow they may come out and steamroll, but pitch to Frank. Menachino, ground ball left side. The A's making some noise here in the 8th, and Lee bobbles it. So does everyone move up 90? Yes, they do. So it was a single by Menachino, and then Carlos Lee butchered it. And so it's second and third, 1 out for Ramon Hernandez. And the A's have got something cooking here in the bottom of the 8th. Ground ball to Konerko. Long will break the shutout. Konerko goes to first by himself. And with 2 out, it's a 5-1 ball game. Johnny Damon's going to hit. He's 1 for 3. Menachino on third. They can get 1 here. That's going to make the 9th interesting. In the left field, Lee ranging over in the alley, and that will retire the side. However, the A's have made this a ball game, kind of. Evanroot, thank you very much for the sub with your Prime account. I appreciate that. Jeff Tam will start the 9th, and we will go with Isringhausen if Tam puts on a base runner, because we're in the same situation where Mo Rivera was. You got a day off, use your closer. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Jamie says he believes Earl Weaver said momentum is tomorrow's starting pitcher, and even more so in these series, and it will be Mark Burley for the White Sox, and I believe Tim Hudson for Oakland. That's if Oakland doesn't score 4 in the 9th inning. Valentin has a home run. He's 1 for 3. Has struck out twice. Ball 4. Here's Chris Singleton. Chris is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Tam wants to face one more batter. Giambi and Chavez play for the bunt. Singleton does not quite oblige. Tejada waits for it and has to eat it. I think. Yes! It got under his glove, and that's an error. Oh, Tejada was trying to turn 2, and instead he just turned nothing. So an error for Oakland. No choice now. It's Isringhausen who has a save. He's gone an inning and struck out a batter. But if he could hold the White Sox to nothing here in the 9th, Izzy has a chance. It'll be Dye, Jason Giambi, and Eric Chavez with Tejada in the hole. Jason's 28, throws a cutter at 93 and a fly ball pitcher. He pitched last night, technically, in the Game 3 win over the White Sox 3-1. A clean inning on 20 pitches. And if he can keep it a 5-1 game, they have a puncher's chance in the 9th. Josh Paul is 1 for 3 and a run scored. To third, Chavez might get 2 out of this. Menechino for 1 and Giambi for 2. So that's pretty good, huh? Jose Valentin on third for Royce Clayton, who is 1 for 3. He has singled and scored. So let's see if we can keep it a 4-run ball game. Izzy winds and fires right back up the box. A comebacker. Isringhausen throws it to first, and that'll do it. So the White Sox get nothing in the 9th on no hits and an error. Second and third in the double play was Oakland's best friend. So the White Sox 3 outs away from going home for a decisive Game 5. The A's really run. The Angels need 4 to tie and 5 to win it. Jermaine Dye is 0 for 3. He is grounded into a double play. Embry stays in the ball game. That is laced into left, but Lee is there, 1 out. So Jason Giambi, who will bat 0 for 3. I thought Oakland would win this game, to be honest. Pitch to Jason. Fly ball, shallow left field. Lee has it, 2 out. And Keith Folk will come in to get the 27th out. Folk picked up the save in Game 1. "22 pitches. He walked the first 2. Gave me a heart attack. Got out of it, picked up the save. He's 28. Change-up pitcher at 90. John says, and he's absolutely right with this, that Mariners team had a terrific offense and a solid pen, but only a couple horses in the rotation. They had to play with the lead or depended on their own to outscore their opponent. You're playing with fire in a short series with that recipe. The good news is it's Freddie Garcia. The bad news is if they win the series, yep, good pitching still beats good hitting 75% of the time, is that you wouldn't get Freddie until Game 3 of the ALCS. You're setting them up to go twice, 3 and 7. But the first 2 games of a prospective ALCS would be, if Seattle wins, in Seattle. If the White Sox beat the A's tomorrow or whenever we play Game 5, then Chicago would have home field. The only team that can't host would be Oakland. because they are the wild card. Chavez 1 for 3, a double and a strikeout. Last chance saloon here. Folk trying to get a strikeout to send us back east. Fly ball, right field. Back goes Ordonez, and that is off the wall. That's off the scoreboard out there, and Chavez has a stand-up double. And that'll bring up Tejada, who is 0 for 3. So Folk takes a deep breath. He's got some room to play with here. Only the 6th hit for Oakland in the ballgame. Keith deals. There goes Chavez up the middle, over the mound. Durham races, throws to first, and Chicago, that toddling town, will host a Game 5 as the White Sox easily beat Oakland in Game 4, 5-1. So 3 hours and 3 fake minutes to see the White Sox live another day. 5 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors. Sean Lowe is going to be your digital dice MVP. He pitched a gem. Oakland a run on 6 hits and 2 errors, and they left 4. You are late. We're pretty much done. So Lowe's 7 innings of redemption baseball. He just gave up the 1 run in the 8th, struck out 3. Embry and Folk did their job. Corey Liddell, not a great effort. Homers by Valentin and Carlos Lee. Yes, the Dodgers won. 6 hits, 5 runs, all earned. 2 homers. Now go eat your tapioca, Gramps. A walk and 4 strikeouts. Corey threw 101 pitches. Magnanti, Tim, and Isringhausen did their job. Isringhausen took the advantage of a double play to do it. So this series goes back to Chicago for a decisive Game 5, date to be determined. So the American League Series will have gone the distance. And again, it will be Tim Hudson and Tim Hudson and Mark Burley in Chicago for the possible clincher. Well, for the clincher. And of course, the Yankees beat Seattle 16-7. The Chicago Cubs wait the winner of Houston and Florida, and Game 4 of that series tonight, 8:30 Eastern Time. Join us from Miami, a Houston win, and it will be Houston and Chicago for the National League pennant. Well, we have at least 2 Game 5s. Will we get a third? Find out tonight. Thank you so much for watching. We'll talk to you the next time. So long, everybody.